you, and I'll stay. I don't know why I did the things I did, and I don't know why I said the things I said. Pride, like a knife, it can cut deep inside. Words are like weapons, they won't sometimes. I didn't really mean to hurt you. I didn't want to see you go. I know I made you cry, but baby, if I could turn back time, if I could find a way, I'll take back those words that hurt you, and you stay. If I could reach the stars, I give them all to you. Then you'll love me like you used to.
Come in a little closer. Where you are standing is what's pictured right here. You are in fact standing approximately right here, right at the edge of this photograph. That's where you're standing. This is a photograph of September 2nd, 1945, when the Japanese Empire will surrender to the Allies, ending the greatest war, the greatest loss of human life in history. Anywhere between 60 and 80 million people will die in World War II, both in Europe and the Pacific. On board this ship where you are standing today, September 2nd, 1945, that horrible, horrible experience will come to a close. Now, you just came up this ladder right here. Right over there on the other side of where you see that chain with the eagles and the brass plate is where the Japanese delegation would stand. Where you see that brass plate is where the surrender table would be. And you can see it in the picture, just the edge of it right here. You can see it right here. This gentleman's seated at it. And that's where the surrender table would be. Notice all the people. Well, the gentleman in charge of the surrender that day would be General Douglas MacArthur. And he invited the entire crew to come and witness the surrender. There were almost 2,700 enlisted on board this ship in World War II. 132 officers, almost 2,800 people on board this ship. He invited them all to come and watch. You can see they're hanging on everything you could think of. Look at this guy. His buddy's holding him so he won't fall off. Well, on the Sunday overcast, humid morning, on September 2nd, 1945, the crew would assemble here. And the Japanese delegation would arrive. Now let's step back just a little bit in history. Some events that had taken place the previous month. August 6th and August 9th of 1945, the United States has just dropped 2 atomic bombs on the islands of Japan at the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. 4 days later, the Emperor of Japan, it's actually 5 days later, the Emperor of Japan will get on the radio, Emperor Hirohito, and he will tell his people that hostilities must end. Interestingly enough, for most of the Japanese people, they'd never heard the voice of their emperor. Because see, he was considered a god. He didn't go on the radio and do public announcements. He didn't do public occasions. They couldn't believe who was this voice, who was talking to them. This is our emperor. And they couldn't believe the words he was saying. The hostilities must end. 2 weeks later, a flotilla of some 257 ships will sail into Tokyo Bay. Amongst those ships would be the USS Missouri. Now, what ship would the surrender take place on? Now, the Allies had decided the surrender would take place in Tokyo, in the Tokyo Bay and on board a ship. But what ship? Well, it would be called to Fleet Admiral Chester Nimitz. You met all of you met Fleet Admiral Chester Nimitz as you came on our property. He was that 8-foot tall bronze statue. You could call to him and decide what ship. But let me just tell you that Mama Nimitz did not raise no fool of a son Chester. Who was President of the United States at that time? Harry S. Truman. Whose daughter had dedicated and launched this ship? Harry S. Truman. Where was he from? Missouri. What was the name of this ship? USS Missouri. What do you think was the ship that the president wanted to surrender on? USS Missouri. So old Chester thought for a few minutes and said, I think it'll be on the Missouri. A very wise choice on his part. He kept his 5 stars.
I didn't care, but I lost everything, darling, then and there. Just trying to tell you I was sorry, too proud to tell you I was wrong. I know that I was wrong, and darling, if I could turn back time, if I could find a way, I'd take back those words that hurt you, and you'd stay. If I could reach the stars, I'd give them all to you. Then you'll love me like you used to. Oh, if I could turn back time, if I could turn back time, if I could turn back time, oh baby. I didn't really mean to hurt you. I didn't want to see you go. I know I made you cry, but I could turn back time if I could find a way. I'll take back those words that hurt you. If I could reach the stars, I'd give them all to you.